There were a few horrifying moments that would scar 11-year-old Majed's life forever. On January 15, 2009, as Israel's war was in full swing, Israeli soldiers took over the neighbourhood of Talal al Hawa. They entered Majed's building, where they found his family and dozens of others taking refuge in the cold and dark basement of their building. Majed was pulled away from his mother.
The soldiers grabbed me from my mother. I was so scared. I peed on myself. They made me open the first bag and leave it. I tried to open the second bag, but it was too heavy for me to lift, so the soldier hit me.
Terrified and helpless, Majed did what they said, knowing that each step he was taking could have been his last. If he had a choice, Majed would never think about what happened that day, but he can't escape his fear. Nearly a year after the war, he is haunted by what happened, his mental health visibly affected.
I was afraid that it was going to explode, and then I was afraid they were going to kill me in front of my mother. I was afraid that they were going to kill everyone.
Months later, Majed recounted to Israeli military investigators what had happened in those final days of the war. Now his testimony has led to the first indictment of its kind against soldiers for their conduct during Israel's war on Gaza.
This case is actually an example where Israel selects one individual case that has to do with one or two individual soldiers and may prosecute them for misconduct. Our problem is mostly with the policies.
The day after Majed's incident, Al Jazeera visited the same Talal al Hawa neighborhood. Residents and eyewitnesses told us about similar experiences. Horrifying accounts like Majed's and other Palestinians emerged during and after the 3-week war and have been well documented, revealing the scope of soldiers' alleged misconduct. The UN's Goldstone fact-finding mission and several international organizations have called on the Israeli government to allow for an independent criminal investigation into the military's conduct, when evidence mounted that its soldiers had committed gross violations of international law and possible war crimes. So far, the Israeli government has rejected those calls, maintaining it can investigate itself fairly, saying it has launched numerous investigations. But the evidence suggests otherwise. This is only the second indictment brought forth by Israel against its own soldiers. The other indictment was against soldiers who had allegedly stolen and used the Palestinians' bank card. In a war that left nearly 1,400 people killed and most of Gaza in ruins, such few indictments, many people here believe, are nothing more than an attempt by Israel to appease the international community rather than pursue justice for the victims of its war. Ayman, Mohyeldin, Al Jazeera, Talal al Hawa.